think when you be as a leader, you will encounter a lot of difficulties. Do you mind to describe two difficulties you think is very like to be important in your careers?
I think the two challenges that I probably have most in this position is getting information, and getting the right information and having timeliness of that information in order to make the right choices in how do I book this transaction. Or if I'm advising leadership, having all the information in order to tell them this is the analysis, this is what I recommend. So that's one, information, and the other side is the interpretation of that information. Whether I'm doing forecasting for budget purposes or what does this data show for the future. Really, and the key to that is communication, all levels up and down and across the departments. So making a broad and collaboration. There's a lot of smart people in the city, and depending on their expertise. Right now I'm researching into an issue that deals with garbage. So it's going to touch Tim Woody, who is the director of the environmental services. It also touches our public works department. And then looking at the financial transactions that has happened and what do we want to do next.
So you need to contact all the department because you all the department are involved in the financial stuff. Right. Okay.
Right.
So that's the difficulties. Okay. The first question is describe two failures you met before and how they are being learning experience in your career.
I was trying to think of something of two specifics. One is a failure in kind of matching the right person with the right job. So it's hard sometimes to get the right fit for a job. And so in hiring, I think my biggest thing is, again, it kind of goes back a little bit to communication. We go through a pretty rigid process in trying to hire somebody, and sometimes we still end up with not a good fit. So how well do the people that are on that panel, or the people that are interviewing, really know what's happening with this, what we need in that position?
So when you're hiring the people, you need to know their strengths and the weakness, but you don't know, so you will confuse or about that?
Not really so much that. I think it was more of what do we need in this position, and so making sure that the person that we hire is right for the position.
Oh, cool. I understand. Okay, so this is one failure?
That's one. The other one was a software mistake that we made early on. And I, in particular, it was a very humbling process. It was very early in my career here. I kind of looked out across and said, "Oh, I'm going to make this decision. I'm the leader. I've got to make this decision." And I realized that it cost time for my employees. They kind of they did this work and then they had to go back and redo the work. So it just cost a lot of time for them. So that was very frustrating and very humbling. I realized that I needed to share, I needed to understand more and kind of depend more, be more trusting, I guess, of my employees and their knowledge. So it was a time of reflection for me.
Okay, so you think the loyalty to the employee is also important, and they should be more
loyal? No, it really involved me. It came down to me being willing to listen. And I learned a hard lesson that I needed to listen to everybody.
Okay, cool. Okay, the fifth question is what principles or values will you embrace and practice as part of your leadership ethic? It's a really hard question.
Yeah. I think my biggest thing goes back to kind of a little bit of what I've been talking about, being inclusive and understanding that there's people that are as smart as I am in different areas, and smarter than I am. So
So it's
understanding and listening.
So this is your leadership ethic?
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, this is all very important to communicate with your employees and know what they want and what you want. Yeah. Cool. Thank you. That's all.
Okay. All right. Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.